Did you know the tissues on your butthole are the same tissues around your mouth?
I did not know that.
You know, really?
I do know that my hot sauce is delicious.
Steve-O collaborating with Gordon Ramsay was not on my 2024 bingo card. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. For some reason, my TikTok algorithm is now 2 years behind. I don't know what is going on, but I feel like this is basically revenge for America banning TikTok, because most of the videos that I keep seeing on my feed is just stuff that I already seen, like I already liked and everything. And when I go to the comment section, literally the date has 2023. TikTok, I know you're listening because my phone is on right now and TikTok is like opened up and everything. Stop giving me videos that I have already seen, especially when it was either a year ago or 2 years ago. Give me current stuff. That way I can inform everybody else what's been going on. The good thing I do have Instagram. That's how I get most of the information. TikTok, come on, man. Do better. You guys were my OGs before Twitter. But anywho, again, guys, make sure to follow my social media. And of course, I do have the links under the description of the episode if it's more easier for you guys to just follow. And then also visit the link tree that's also under the description if you guys are trying to find other listening platforms where the Thoughts of Lielers is available on. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this episode started because we're back in session. I do have a non-pop culture related news, and of course we're going to go ahead and kick it off with that. So did you guys know that Airbnb revealed an Up inspired house? Literally, they replicated the house like room per room, and it is planned to be lifted with a crane. Yes, the balloons will be above the house, but you're also going to be floating. Honestly, that's a big no for me because I'm terrified of heights, especially like even whenever I'm stepping on a ladder. But this can go wrong in so many different levels, because if you look at the picture of the Up house and being held by a crane, that string does not give me any reassurance that the house will probably like fall or something. So yeah, I'm not doing that, but I'm pretty sure there are so many fans out there for the movie Up are probably already looking this up and probably trying to look on how to book for the night. Honestly, you guys let me know if you are planning a book or not. But anywho, let's go ahead and dive into movies. I only have one thing, but it is a kind of big story. So I don't know if you guys know, but it has been reported that Kevin Feige advised Hugh Jackman against returning as Wolverine. So yeah, because Deadpool and Wolverine is coming up, everybody, like when I mean by everybody, the fans, have been wanting to see Hugh Jackman return as Wolverine, because we didn't like the story how it ended with Logan. Yeah, sure, it was beautiful and amazing, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man, we still need one more hurrah. This can't be it, you know. It is said that Kevin Feige said, quote, "Don't come back. You had the greatest ending in history with Logan. That's not something we should undo." But at the same time, I'm like, we're already in the multiverse era. I think us as fans are under the impression that, you know, oh yeah, they probably died in the main timeline, but because of the multiverse they can always come back. And I think the only reason why we think that is because of the Loki series. I don't know how many times we saw Loki die, and after Infinity War it looked like it was a done deal, but then we saw Endgame and it's like, wait a second, that side of Loki is still going on. And then here comes Loki season 1 and 2. But now that, you know, season 2 ended and we know the fate of that Loki itself. So it's like, okay, well, this one is still alive, even though he's running now the timelines and whatnot. What could happen with Hugh Jackman? Because we saw with, you know, Logan, old man Logan, he died. And then after that, it was like, it didn't sit well with us. I don't know, but at the same time, let's look at Deadpool and Wolverine before we even jump to the conclusion that, oh, hey, maybe it was right that Kevin Feige told him we should have just leave it at Logan and call it a day. But then again, at the same time, I'm pretty sure Hugh Jackman's been wanting to come back as Wolverine, but like a whole different story, a whole different background. And that's what I'm assuming that we're gonna see on Deadpool and Wolverine. So I cannot wait to go watch it. So there's that. But that's the only thing I have for you guys on movies. And yeah, but if you think about it, we're gonna be talking a lot on the music and wrestling category. So yeah, we're probably gonna go by really, really fast. For television, everybody has been talking about the season finale of Chucky, the series. Now, I haven't been watching it. That's why we're not going to talk about it right now. But I have been getting a bunch of spoilers on social media. Just know I'm conflicted because I don't know if this is the season finale. Like, that's it. We're going to get a new season, like season 4. Or is this the series finale? Because the way how I saw it, I'm like, oh, it looks like that's how we're gonna end it. I guess. Honestly, I was not happy about the ending. But then again, I need to watch the whole series from there. I think I stopped halfway where season 3 ended. And then they took a break. And now they're finishing off season 3. Again, I haven't watched it. But yeah, keep in mind, if you guys are interested in watching it, definitely go check it out on Peacock. In other news, Variety is reporting that there will be a live-action Scooby-Doo series for Netflix. They will be collaborating with Warner Brothers, and they will give us each 1-hour episodes, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I'm over here like, how are they gonna do it into 1 hour, mystery sessions, like how we used to do it, like when we were growing up with the cartoons, like each episode was 30 minutes? And then even if they do live action, are they gonna reflect it to our timeline where, technology is more advanced? People are probably going to be looking up stuff on Google, Wikipedia. I wouldn't be surprised if they even include TikTok on there. But what I'm more concerned, especially whenever they're doing it in our era, I'm worried about the dialogue. Is it going to be more like, Gen Z, where, people are teenagers, or are they going to be adults? There's a lot of conflicting on there once I'm thinking about the show. And the other thing I also noticed, because I mentioned this on a previous episode and more so afterwards, when I got Netflix, I started watching this show called The Crown. And I actually got bored out of it, maybe like in season 3 or 4, I want to say. And then I also mentioned, oh, hey, I'm watching this new show called You, right? Well, I kept watching it, and I finished up until season 3. Maybe like 2 episodes in, I got bored. The story didn't make any sense. There were things happening on there that was just like coincidence or wouldn't happen in real life. And then they started getting a little bit over exaggerating to where I just started skipping a lot. And I'm like, is this what Netflix series tend to do? Like, at first it begins strong, and then afterwards it loses its momentum, and it's like, And I talked about this too when I was talking about Squid Game, which I reviewed a long time ago, and the episode's still out there if you guys want to listen to. But I was mostly worried about how the season 2 for Squid Game may have been rushed to where, oh my god, it's gonna lose its momentum. And that first season was really great. So I was mostly worried about that, given that the fact that the first season took a long time for it to be finally pitched in and be created by Netflix. So I'm kind of concerned how this is gonna go for Scooby-Doo. Who freaking knows? But we'll see. And unfortunately, that covers up television because, again, there's nothing going on. What? That's weird. Yeah. But rest assured, I have a lot of shit to talk about in the music category. And one of them in particular is about my video that I posted this past week about having a metal mental breakdown. But we're going to get into that. First thing I wanted to talk about is that we finally got a Ghost movie release date for their upcoming movie. Yes, the film, Right Here, Right Now. RITE, that's how it's spelled. It will be in theaters on June 20th and 22nd only. That means not the 21st, and those are going to be the only days. So supposedly the pre-sale will be happening on May 9th, and it will be available worldwide. So yeah, rest assured I will be taking the day off for that. Yeah. I'm kind of skeptical about going though, because I can already assume that people are going to be loud, and I just want to watch the movie in peace. But at the same time, I'm like, imagine how it was for people that went to go see Taylor Swift or even Beyonce. Everybody was singing the songs out loud and everything. And I'm like, I have a feeling that might happen, but at the same time, I am praying and hoping that on the scenes where there's no music happening and it's just storytelling, I want people to shut the fuck up, because I really want to pay attention to the lore. If I do decide to go, I will be planning to watch both days, just in case I am missing on something probably in the first movie. And I'm keeping this in mind because when the Re-Imperator ended at the Kia Forum, they had 2 nights. And I don't know if it was the same thing thing, or there was something different on the first day than it was on the second day. I don't know, and that's what I'm thinking that might happen between these 2 days, because they're separate days. Rest assured, I will be talking about it whenever the day does come. I also did find out that they will have movie merch. So we see popcorn buckets. And I'm assuming this is a tumbler, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 popcorn buckets. And then the other one is a tumbler. I don't know if the other one's just like a singular cup. God knows what. So most of the merch has the movie poster on them. One of them in particular looks like a massive popcorn bucket that looks like it was made for Halloween candy purposes, maybe. The other one, I don't know if it's a cup or a really tiny popcorn bucket, but same thing. I'm planning to get it if it is a cup. The other one is the aluminum tinfoil popcorn bucket. And then the other popcorn bucket is just like a square shaped, cone looking. I forgot all my shapes names, so just keep that in mind. But it was like a traditional popcorn bucket from back in the days, except this one is blue. And it looks like it has Papa's, hat. And it has the letter P along with the ghost logos across it. So that is more like, for home for sure. And then the traditional tumbler with the straw. I don't know how I feel about the tumbler, but still. At the same time, I'm like, are we getting other merch? Maybe possibly plushias or some other things. I know Ghost did updated their website. They have a few shirts available for pre-order in case if you guys are interested. Me, honestly though, I'm keeping my eye on the tumbler. Maybe the cup, if it is a cup, for sure, that I'm planning to get. I talked about popcorn buckets again. I know I made fun of the one for the Doom bucket, the Dunasi popcorn bucket. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not for me, like I mentioned before, I have the Avengers Infinity War aluminum tin can popcorn bucket that is collecting dust as we speak. So even for Ghost, I still wouldn't buy it. And plus, I do not eat popcorn at home. So it's like, it's a lost cause. I'd rather just hand it over for other people that either collect it or are planning on using it. So there's that. Now, let's go ahead and move it along and talk about my metal mental breakdown. So Slipknot announced Knotfest and a North American tour just when I thought everybody was hating the States. And I think I jinxed myself. This is what I get because I was talking about it last week, and now boom, we have this. So Knotfest is going to be held in Iowa in the Waterworks Park there in Des Moines, and it's going to be on September 21st. The lineup, oh my god, not only Slipknot is going to be headlining, but for one night only, the 25th special anniversary event will consist of Doze, I don't even know, Spine, Swollen Teeth, Holy Wars, Twin Temples, I'll get into that in a bit, Zulu, Dying Wish, Vended, we'll get into that too, Gore, Poison the Well, Hatebreed, Knocked Loose, until freaking Linderman. Oh my god, where is the Rammstein and Slipknot collab that I wanted for so long? Please and thank you. But anywho, yes, they did announce this, and then they actually have like VIP packages, and I think they sold out like the moment the pre-sale started happening, because I was so tempted to do it. Like I even went ahead and got the pre-sale code, typed it in, waited for the moment that the Ticketmaster window opened, and then I was like, okay, let's see, if it's meant to be, I'll go, if not, oh well. And yeah, no, they sold out right then and there. And if you were to go and try to get tickets for Knotfest, the only thing you're going to get is just the standard admission, which is just standing in the heat, which I'm assuming it's going to be hot in September. The only thing I can think of is that the tickets are very affordable. Like right now it's at $125. Whenever the pre-sale was happening, it was not even $100. But then again, I don't know if the fees were included on there. But for those that are in Des Moines, lucky for them, right? No, for us, because I talked about this in the video that I was recording on social media. It is very expensive for people that are out of town to just go to this festival. Of course, there are a bunch of Slipknot diehard fans that, it's not me, but are willing to actually pay all that money just to go see them, for Knotfest for their 25th anniversary celebration. Me, honestly, I was tempted, and this is why. So this is where I gotta break it down to you guys. So I mentioned in the last episode, Till Lindemann is going to be kicking off his solo tour on September 17th. So that's where I'm like, okay, it's in San Antonio. It's on a weekday. And yes, keep that in mind. And then when Slipknot announced their North American tour, literally that same day on September 17th, they're going to be in Austin. And I was like, no, I'm not going to choose between, one or the other. Because thank God that Slipknot is going to be in Dallas the next day. And that is right before they kick off, Knotfest. So they're going to be in Dallas on September 18th. And this is where I get all fucking like, oh my God, it sucks being a metal fan. Why do I say this? Because back a while ago, I talked about how Slaughter to Prevail is going to be having their tour with Marilyn Manson and Five Finger Death Punch. And they're actually ending their tour on September 19th here in Houston. And oh my God, it sucks. Like, I'm willing to do it, honestly. I would if I had the fucking PTO. I don't have enough days to cover that. Well, maybe I do if I don't touch them all up until September. It's either that or I find another job that's willing to reset the PTO. It would be fucking amazing if I was willing to actually do the Texas Triangle road trip. Hell, I'll take Cosmo with me if I wanted to. Literally, like, okay, going to Houston, go to San Antonio on September 17th to see Till Lindemann. Then after that, on September 18th, go to Dallas and go see Slipknot. And then make my way back to Houston and end with Slaughter to Prevail, Marilyn Manson, and Five Finger Death Punch. It all happens to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then having to work freaking Friday and then boom, weekend. Why do they have to do it on a freaking weekday? This is what I get for talking shit about Madonna, literally. Because I mentioned it. She'll be late. And then I told everybody, if you're willing to go watch an artist on a weekday, be prepared to put in that PTO. I don't have the damn PTO. Now I understand. This is what I get. This is what I get. Fucking karma's a bitch, I swear. But for me, it's like, I really want to do it. I really want to do like something that I've been wanting to do for so long. Go to concerts, literally back to back. Have an amazing week if I had to. But of course, I can't predict the fucking future. If that was the case, I wouldn't even have taken like a week off for my birthday. And I still have more PTO left. And now. And this is what sucks too. I only get 15 days. And yeah, I already used literally 10 days. 5 of them were for my birthday. The other 5 were for fucking emergencies because life is not perfect and all. And now I have 5 left. And those are going to be the ones that I'm saving just in case, something like this is happening. It's gonna be so fucking hard for me not to touch that PTO. Every day is a fucking struggle with me because it sucks that I only have 2 days off. And I wish, again, fucking capitalism, I swear. I wish we could have like 3 days off, right? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's so hard for me to do everything that I need to do on my free time. And do it in a span of 2 days, Yeah, yesterday, it was mostly like running errands. And because I live in a fucking big city, it takes forever, right? To just be on the road. Then after that, it was mostly like, okay, let me make myself something to eat. I gotta get dressed, this, and that. And then today, it's mostly like, okay, I'm doing laundry. We still had to go run more errands. And then boom, the podcast. And I still haven't even made lunch for tomorrow. This is why I was having a damn mental breakdown, because it sucks to be in the situation that I'm in, especially when you're looking forward to something like that. If you think about it, like, I can make a blog out of it and see how amazing it is to be on a road trip in the 3 most popular cities in Texas that happens to shape a triangle, And for you to do that only to see some of your favorite artists, Slipknot's one. Till Lindemann is representing Rammstein. I listen to Rammstein. They're, my second, third favorite band. Slaughter to Prevail is now entering top 5 for sure. I don't know what number 5 is, but they're definitely top 4. And what I mean by that is, like, they're not my 4th favorite band. They're going to be in mixture with Ghost and Rammstein. Ghost is not going to be on tour until June, but that's going to be in cinemas. But for me to actually go see Slaughter to Prevail perform with 2 other bands that I used to listen to as a teenager, even more reasons why I've been wanting to go. But it just sucks. So, this is where I leave it off. If it happens, it happens. Anything can happen in a span of 4 months. I will leave it at that. I do pray and hope that I get to do it. I do want to take Cosmo to San Antonio and Dallas. I think me and her, we haven't fully spent a day in Dallas. I passed by it whenever, like, I needed to go to New Mexico and we had to go up there and then make our way to Amarillo. But other than that, like, I haven't fully spent a day in Dallas. It's scary, though, because it's like 2 cities combined and then they're considering it Dallas, Fourth Ward and Dallas, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to do it, but we'll see. That's why I'm like, stay tuned in the next 4 months to see if that actually happens. And again, if that does happen, I will definitely talk about it both on the podcast and potentially make a blog, you know. That's something I've been looking forward to doing. But still, on that note, the tickets are now on sale for both Knotfest and the Here Comes the Pain North American tour for this coming year. Now let's go ahead and move it along. There is a collab that everybody in the deathcore scene, metalcore scene, whatever you guys want to call it, that we've been wanting. So I've been finally getting videos from Sick New World and a lot of musicians just hanging out. But one in particular that I wanted to talk about is Lorna Shore's Will Ramos and Slaughter to Prevail's Alex the Terrible. Of course, I've been talking about Slaughter to Prevail for a while. But the thing is that if you guys haven't listened to Lorna Shore, sweet Jesus, please do so. Because now when we see him with Alex the Terrible, it's like, oh my god, who has the best screaming voice? I mean, honestly, some people will say Will Ramos because he can actually sing. No offense to Alex the Terrible, but still, I'm like, then again, I'm like, Alex still needs to practice a little bit more. But on this video that I got to see, Will is over there just appreciating the performance that Slaughter to Prevail gave, and he's over there talking to Alex, and they're just literally just homieing it out, and it's hilarious. But not only he's appreciating and asking, you know, Alex some questions like what was he doing with the microphone, you know, whatever. Will pops the question about having a collab. And, you know, Alex was being all excited and he says yes. Like, come on, why would you not take advantage of that opportunity? And everybody in the comment section was like, yes, finally, you know. And then Will was over there like, oh, yeah, just relax. We're going to go see other bands perform. But he couldn't think of one right then and there. And next thing I know, I hear Alex saying that he's going to see Slipknot for the first time. And I'm like, oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Not all diehard fans have like the privilege of seeing their favorite bands perform live. You know, like me, I got to see Slipknot in 2021 and I've been listening to them since 2008. Yeah, that's how long it's been. Look at freaking Alex. Alex is almost the same age. No, he's 30. He's about to be 31. But like, he's barely seen them. You know, it's like we don't have that privilege and liberty to do so. Hell, we probably, you know, didn't have the opportunity because we didn't have that money or because we have nobody to take us. So there's that. And that's why I want to see Slipknot again. I'm like, I'm willing to go by myself. I don't care. But at the same time, it's like now it's more conflicting with my job than, you know, anything else. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, I cannot wait to see what they come up with. Maybe a single. Who knows? I just need them together in the same room one more time and then comparing screaming vocals. Please and thank you. And since I'm already talking about Alex and Slaughter to Prevail, I also got to see a video of their show in Denver, and I need to talk about it. So during the song of Baba Yaga, they literally brought in a guy in an inflatable bear costume, head banging, you know, smoshing even though he's in front of the stage, and I cannot contain myself. This is something funny, like it's an idea that I have if you guys are listening and are fans of Slaughter to Prevail. So this artist that some of y'all know as Bad Bunny, his fans are actually dressed in inflatable shark costumes because of a song that he has, and it basically says "Mami, ¿qué tú quieres? Aquí llegó tu tiburón." So it's basically like, "What, Mommy, what do you want? Here comes your shark." Makes no sense, but it's catchy in Spanish, right? And so because of that, fans dress up in inflatable shark costumes to show that they listen to the song, right? In here with Slaughter to Prevail, I'm over here thinking, why don't you just show up and dress up in a bear inflatable costume to pay tribute to Baba Yaga? And to make matters even more funnier, those that do dress up are over there moshing in a circle. I think that would be hilarious. But yeah, maybe everybody should do it. Go ahead, do it now. In other news, Deftones frontman Chino Moreno confirms a new album is in the works. The upcoming 10th album has already gotten the instrumental portion done, and all that's left is for Chino to record the vocals. Honestly, ever since the last album that I listened to, Gore, back in 2016, I feel like Deftones kind of lost his momentum. But then again, I'm not like big on Deftones. I will probably give it a listen, but I'm not having too high hopes on that. But anywho, that wraps up on the music category. Let's go ahead and talk about gaming. Starting with some YouTube drama that I actually found right after I uploaded last week's episode. If you guys do not follow these YouTube accounts, you're probably like, what's going on with her? So I used to watch YouTube a lot, and I followed Vanos Gaming's YouTube channel along with, Smosh, PewDiePie, and all of those. But with Vanos, I also followed his crew, Nogla, Terrorizer, I Am Wildcat, and so forth, so forth. So the year is probably 2016, 2017. And one of the YouTubers in that crew, his name is Delirious. I still follow him. Same thing. Even after that whole dilemma he's been going through with the separation of his baby mama, he actually posted on Threads. This is why one of the rare reasons I go on that app. But there's this drama that was going on between him and this other YouTuber called Omrecker. I don't remember entirely what was the whole thing that started it. But what I do remember is that Omrecker started talking shit about not just Delirious, but like everybody else in the Vanos Gaming crew. And some of it was just for attention because Omrecker wasn't getting that much attention like everybody else has. And then it started going to the point where he started talking shit mostly at Delirious and his family. And it led to a whole lawsuit. I did not know that they still had that lawsuit open for I don't know how many years, because Delirious posted on Threads, quote, "I am writing to inform my fans and the gaming community that Omrecker and I settled litigation between us. The terms of the settlement are confidential, and we have agreed that neither of us will comment or post about the dispute." Cosmos says hi, by the way. "We ask our fans to respect our privacy and help us move forward." So what I'm assuming from this whole thing is that either Omrecker got hush money so he can stop talking shit, or Delirious was probably suing and Omrecker didn't have anything to back himself up, and then Delirious got money for it, and it's all right, let's go ahead and put our differences aside and whatnot. Omrecker still continues to have over 1 million followers, and with that being said, he's still gonna be doing what he's doing. All he does is just post content of Dead by Daylight, the game, and he has his own crew that he plays with. Delirious has either cartoons or goes back and collaborate with Vanos and his crew. So either way, that was something I wanted to talk about because I did not know it was gonna go for 8 years if you think about it. But I still feel for Delirious because I don't know if this is a win for him again, because they're not sharing details of the whole lawsuit. But I do feel because of this whole baby mama drama that he was going through, he did sounded like he was hurt and all. So for him to deal with this whole drama with Omrecker, I feel like it put a toll in his head. But either way, again, we don't know what's going to happen. But I am praying and hoping that it went on the favor of the people that were telling the truth from the start. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about other gaming news, starting off with Fallout. So it looks like Todd Howard is teasing 2 Fallout projects. I don't think there will be the next Fallout game coming soon, maybe in a couple of years or so, only because Bethesda is working on Elder Scrolls. Oh my god, Cosmo's literally just wanting to say hi to everybody. But yeah, if anything, I feel like Fallout 5 might come out probably I would say 2027 or so. I swear to god, we better not have Fallout 5 and then GTA 6 later on. That would be so sad but hilarious at the same time. I'm still wondering, even if Fallout 5 will be in the works, I wonder what city they will base it off of. A lot of people are thinking San Francisco, possibly New York, and I'm over here what about Texas? come on, man. Obviously, we already have the most recent one with Fallout 76, even though that is like the beginning stages of the Fallout storyline, and it's taking place in West Virginia. And of course, we have Fallout 4 in Boston, and then we have New Vegas and so forth. But we'll see. I would be so excited to get a Fallout 5, and I'm praying and hoping by the time that also comes out, I finally completed either Fallout 4, 3, and even New Vegas at this point. Now let's go ahead and move it along. There are rumors that the next Nintendo Switch will have magnetic Joy-Con controllers. Following this, it is also reported that they will feature backwards compatibility. As a consumer, I swear to God, if they do have this feature, it will be great. That way I can continue playing the games that I've been playing on my Switch right now without having to re-buy them and replay them all over again. And unfortunately, we hit the 30-minute mark, and that actually wraps up everything that I have for you guys on pop culture. But now we gotta talk about wrestling. Starting with WrestleMania 41. We been knew this, by the way, but of course WWE was probably a little bit behind on some things, but they have confirmed that WrestleMania 41 will be held in Las Vegas at the Allegiant Stadium. Surprisingly, it won't be on the first weekend of April like how it's been for I don't know how many years. WrestleMania 41 will be on April 19 and 20. The good news for most of the WWE fans is that it will not feature a weekend song since like for the past 4 years. That's all we've been hearing. They actually featured the announcement with Triple H, saying, hey, we're going to be in Vegas. And in the background, you hear a song from Travis Scott, which I guess, but still, I have a feeling they're probably going to add one more song into that whole theme for WrestleMania. And yes, I'm already excited, even though it's less than a month away. Now, I need to talk about what happened this past Monday on Raw. Starting off with the venue. So Raw took place in Kansas City, and they had to bring Patrick Mahomes from the Kansas City Chiefs. My money is still on the fact that Triple H is a Swiftie, and he's getting closer and closer on getting all the Swifties to be into wrestling. Because if you think about it, he already had Jason Kelce at WrestleMania 40. And then we have Patrick Mahomes. Like, where is Travis Kelce and then potentially Taylor Swift? And also, I noticed there's a new interesting storyline between Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Of course, I talked about this in a previous episode where right now Rhea Ripley is currently out because of an injury. And it looks like Dominic is trying to find his next mommy. It's like, damn. Why do I say this? Because during an interview, I forgot who. I'm too focused on what's been happening in the background. I want to say it was Jey Uso. But in the background, as the interview is going, you can't help but to notice that Liv Morgan is coming out from a room, whatever. But then, like, not even a minute later, we see Dominic coming out of the same room that Liv Morgan came out. And it's like, oh my God. And then on the next segment, because the draft is going on, and we'll get into that in a bit, Dominic bumped into his dad, Rey Mysterio. And, he's over there talking like, oh yeah, Judgment Day runs Raw, this, and that. And then Rey is like looking at him like, what is that in your mouth? It's like, is that lipstick? And it's like, oh, something's going on. Me personally, I'm like, I guess. But if you think about it, the next custody match between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan for Dominic Mysterio is going to be good. The other thing I loved is that Rhea actually posted on social media, just I guess like an update from her. And I couldn't help but to notice that going on the comment section, there was already people snitching on Dom about what happened with potentially Liv Morgan. And I'm like, damn, poor Dom. Even fans are already throwing him under the bus. But I can't wait to see that. And I'm already hoping that Rhea Ripley comes back ASAP. But anywho, now with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about what happened on the last few rounds of the draft. So they continued on with Stephanie McMahon returning and announcing the first round of night 2. The first person they mentioned was Imperium is going to Raw. However, when they said Imperium, they meant Gunter and Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah, you already know. There's a separation going on from there. And then SmackDown is selecting Jade Cargill. in which Raw responds with Damage Control, meaning that Io, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai are all going to be moving to Raw. And lastly, Kevin Owens will be staying on SmackDown. For round 2, interestingly enough, he wasn't in the first round, but CM Punk will be staying on Raw. And then SmackDown, this is where it gets weird because I did not know they had a name. But SmackDown selects The Pride, which includes Bobby Lashley, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, and B-Fab, which we kind of knew just because of Bianca and Montez. So the rule is if they're wrestlers that are married, they're usually automatically drafted into the same brand. So there's no separation right then and there. But when they're dating, that does not mean that they're safe. So like keep in mind like Tiffany Stratton and Ludwig Kaiser. No, like they're just dating, but now they're working for a different brand. So that kind of sucks. What I mean by that, I kind of got ahead of myself. So Tiffany Stratton is actually staying in SmackDown, and she was in the second round, of course. However, the most shocking announcement just yet, and I already heard rumors beforehand, is that Braun Strowman is coming back to WWE and is heading to Raw. So I saw like videos and people saying, hey, for those that do not know, Braun Strowman is in Kansas City and he's actually getting a haircut. We actually got to see Braun Strowman making an appearance, and he kind of almost beef with Patrick Mahomes. Part of me was like, bro, like I get it, Patrick Mahomes is low-key a heel and whatnot because he was helping Logan Paul with his 3 probably replica of the Super Bowl rings. But then like when Braun Strowman came out and he was beefing with Patrick, it was more like, wait a second, hold up. Like, I get it, he's trying to be heel mode, but the moment you attack him, everybody in Kansas City is gonna side with Patrick than with Braun Strowman, so there's that. But anywho, other than that, on round 3, Raw selects the LWO, and that's what I meant earlier with Dominic Mysterio. So Rey Mysterio, Zelina Vega, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Carlito. Even though there's some drama going on between Carlito and Rey Mysterio, but they're going to be going to Raw. SmackDown, however, is going to go ahead and keep Legado del Fantasma, meaning Santos Escobar, Angel, Berto, or, you know, it was Humberto, but now they just shortened it to Berto, and Elektra Lopez are going to be staying there in SmackDown. And then there was tension going on with the whole fact that Drew hasn't even been drafted, so he was making a fuss out of it, and then all of a sudden Raw selects Drew McIntyre, so he's staying on Raw, which is good because, you know, the whole CM Punk feud and then potentially Sheamus, so there's that. And then to wrap up round 3, SmackDown selects Shinsuke Nakamura. And then in round 4, Raw is going to be keeping Judgment Day, and that includes Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD. SmackDown is going to be keeping Naomi. Then Raw finally made it interesting and started grabbing somebody from NXT. None other than Ilya Dragunov. So he is now going to be in Raw where he deserves. Now, a lot of people went to the comment section once the announcement went live, and people did say, and I agree, that Ilja versus Gunter is going to be feeding families. Yeah, that feud is going to go for so long. I can't wait to see it. And hopefully, maybe, potentially, we might be able to see it because they also did announce the matches for the King of the Ring tournament, which I will get to that after this. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. And then lastly, on round 4, SmackDown is taking Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I personally am not a fan of Chelsea Green. Personal reasons, and I'm not gonna get into that, but I did love that whole little segment where they were saying that supposedly Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis had to fight for Chelsea, when in reality Adam Pearce was begging Nick to take them. And when that happened, Nick Aldis told Adam Pearce, like, you owe me. And I'm like, ooh, this is gonna sound interesting because the owing can be something great storyline wise, so we'll see. But anywho, moving along to round 5, Raw is gonna be keeping the New Day, which is, you know, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. SmackDown is going to be keeping Pretty Deadly, which they're barely on TV, but I guess. And then more interesting, Raw is taking someone from NXT, none other than Lyra Valkyria. I told you guys this was going to happen, and I could not be any happier, because I know once Lyra walks into the Raw locker room, the first thing we're going to see is her and Becky Lynch getting reunited. But I know for sure, I have a feeling Lyra's going to be like, well, I beat you once for the NXT championship, I could probably beat you again. But I don't think that's going to be the case here. But we'll see how that's going to go later on Raw. And then lastly, on round 5, SmackDown is going to be taking Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. That whole storyline where Candice is trying to be heel is not working out for me. But hey, you know what? They're trying to make it work. And, you know, it is tag team faction, so anything can happen on there. Alright, and then on the 6th round, which is the final round that they have televised, and then after that they announce stuff on social media, Raw is going to be keeping the Final Testament, which is going to be Karrion Kross, Scarlett, the Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering. And then SmackDown is taking DIY, which of course, again, Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano are married, so we can all assume. But DIY consists of Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Raw is going to be keeping Big Bronson Reed, and then SmackDown finally is taking somebody from NXT, and that is Blair Davenport. If you guys do not know, she is a really great wrestler, especially in Japan. I kind of follow her from there, and then, you know, once she went to NXT, I have, you know, high hopes for her. Of course, I remember during the time when she was in Japan, she was actually dating Will Ospreay. I got to hear some of the drama allegations that, you know, they were going through as a couple, and of course they broke off and they went their separate ways. Of course, Will Ospreay is now in AEW, and the way how I know her, Bea Priestley, she is now in NXT, well, now in WWE SmackDown. So I'm hoping a lot of good things can happen, and I'm praying, hoping they don't bury her, because she does have a lot of great potential. And then hopefully, you know, edging out other SmackDown talents that need a ton of work. So we'll see how that goes. And then what was finally announced on social media, SmackDown is only going to be taking 3 talents, and that will be Apollo Crews and then Giovanni Vinci. So that's how you know Imperium is already separating, and Tegan Knox. And then Raw is going to be taking Natalya, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance. Odyssey Jones, a homeboy wasn't even wrestling for the past year, so I don't know what the whole deal is with him. But then they said that Raw is also going to be taking Dijak from NXT, and I kind of got pissed, if you ask me, because Dijak is a great wrestler. Like, he literally redeemed himself in NXT, and I am upset that his draft announcement wasn't televised. He deserves it, but I'm also upset because they haven't even given him an NXT championship. Like, really? I am scared and terrified they're going to bury him, because, again, he did a lot of great work. I'm a big fan of Dijak, but congratulations, and I cannot wait to see him on Raw. And then, of course, continuing on, Raw is also going to be keeping Julius Creed and Brutus Creed, you know, the Creed brothers, alongside with Ivy Nile. And then lastly, they're going to be keeping New Catch Republic, also known as Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I really do hope some of these people actually don't end up like Cameron Grimes. And I forgot to mention this last week. He got released and he made like a whole, you know, wholesome video where he's crying and all of that. But if you think about it, like, he really wasn't doing much in SmackDown. So again, like, when this whole roster comes live starting tomorrow, we'll see who's actually worth staying, you know, in the main events, and then who has to either go back to NXT or, you know, have to be let go. All right, and then before we even talk about Backlash that happened literally yesterday, we need to talk about the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring matches. So for the Queen of the Ring, we're going to be having Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile. I would not be surprised if Zoe wins. And then we're going to have Shayna Baszler versus Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega was the first so far Queen of the Ring, but I highly doubt she's going to have another chance to be Queen once again. And then the next match is Lyra Valkyria versus Asuka. That one I'm very excited for. And my money's on Lyra. So let's see if she has what it takes to be ready for Asuka. And then lastly, Io Sky versus Natalya. Obviously, we already know Io's going to win because Natalya is just there for the paycheck at this point. On the flip side, King of the Ring matches are also going to be... And then for the King of the Ring tournament, the first match is Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor. I won't be surprised if Drew wins. However, what if CM Punk intervenes once again just for the memes, you know, and then Finn Balor wins? That will be hilarious. The next one is Kofi Kingston versus Rey Mysterio. I have a feeling maybe Kofi. We'll see. Ricochet versus Ilja Dragunov. And of course, my money is on Ilja. I am rooting for him. But then again, I'm more concerned is if he wins and then potentially going up against Gunther. Because Gunther is going to be going up against Sheamus. And I'm sorry, I really did wanted the Burger King memes. But hands down, we know Gunther is unstoppable. So that's going to be an interesting match. And then it will probably start the whole feud between Gunther and Ilja. That'll be very interesting. So these matches are kicking off on Monday Night Raw, supposedly as said by Michael Cole. So I can't wait to see it. Of course, I'm more interested on Lyra Valkyria versus Asuka and then everybody else in the men's tournament. So I am thinking prediction-wise who will win. I want to say either Lyra or Io potentially might be the next Queen of the Ring. And then Gunther's going to be King of the Ring. Those are my predictions. And with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about Backlash. I just want to say shout out to the French crowd because they were freaking loud. Like, it was so loud enough that a lot of people were getting loud environment alerts on their watches. Like, that's something that a lot of people have. And they said that the noise level was at least over 100 decibels. And I'm like, sweet Jesus. Honestly, me personally, I'm like, I feel like these are the reasons why the Europe crowd is so much better than us here in the States. Because sometimes here, we're dead. Like, WrestleMania Night 1 was pretty dead until I guess we started voicing our opinion on social media and they kind of picked up their slack on night 2. But my thing is that, like, I feel like most pay-per-views will be so much interesting if it happens in Europe. I don't care, like, time difference wise, because like Australia, for example, for Elimination Chamber, it wasn't there crowd wise, and then of course the time difference for us, yeah, no. But like if there were places like in the UK, France, you know, it was really good. Like, honestly, from a personal level, I loved it. I was smiling and I'm over here like, I wish I was there. You know, it feels like you're at a club or something, but like with a bunch of wrestling fans, and I love that. But the first match that kicked off Backlash was Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga versus Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. The match originally was going to be like a regular tag team match, but I assume because of the French crowd, you know, giving everything that WWE has always wanted, they decided to give them a little treat and making the match street rules. Of course, the match was very chaotic, but we have a surprise interference from Tama Tonga's brother, Tanga Loa. And I'm like, oh my God, hear me out. So there's this theory going on that could potentially lead to WrestleMania 41. We will see. But the theory is that we will probably end up getting Roman versus The Rock, calling it maybe like the Bloodlines versus the Ones. And Roman will probably have either Jimmy and Jey Uso on his side, and then The Rock will have Solo and Tama Tonga. But with Tanga Loa joining, we might possibly have maybe another Fatu brother joining the ones, and I feel like this is probably gonna be a whole badass interesting storyline that we could see from these two. Like, forget Cody, like, and a lot of people are already hating on Cody, but I guess that's what it is now. But this whole storyline between Rock and Roman, yeah, it's already cooking and I'm ready for it, honestly. Of course, with Tangaloa interfering, Solo and Tama ended up winning that match. And then poor Kevin Owens and Randy, they were struggling to get out of the ring. The next match was between Bayley versus Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. The whole crowd serenaded Bayley, of course, and you know, we always see it in Europe than I do in the States. So I'm over here like, is this a Europe thing? You know, of course, Bayley retained, and it was no surprise. Of course, all these matches is just mostly to prove why they should be champions, you know, so keep that in mind, of course. I mean, there was really not much to talk about Bayley, you know, with her triple threat match. She actually did defeat Naomi, and Naomi just still gave her like a respectful ovation. So I mean, there was nothing bad. I thought she was gonna go heel mode for a second, but anywho, the next match was between Jey Uso versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. I was already hyped up for Jay's entrance because just hearing the French crowd, I'm like, oh yeah. And yes, that's exactly what we got. Everybody was standing. They had their phones light up. Like, it was like Bray Wyatt Fireflies, but everybody was jamming to Jey Uso's music. And yes, I was like, damn, reasons why I wish I was there. And everybody, like, you know, moving and whatnot. This is what I wish we got in WrestleMania. Honestly, like, this could have been perfect. And I remember, like, before, like, Backlash was gonna start, they had a kickoff show, like, literally while I was at work. But a lot of people in the crowd was telling Triple H, we want Mania. And he's like thinking about it. And I'm like, hey, I'm for it. You know, I don't care about that time difference. I think a lot of people in the States would be happy if, you know, maybe it took place in either the UK or in France, because we can watch WrestleMania during the day and not having to stay up for so long. I don't know, Triple H, just saying. So anywho, back to this match. Jay was still hyping up the crowd even after the bell rung, which was pretty funny. But then, you know, as they were already going up against each other, eventually JD and Finn Balor interfere, trying to give Damian like help winning the match. And then after Damian won, like Finn and JD started kicking the crap out of Jay, and Damian had to stop them, and he kept yelling like he doesn't need their help, like he got this. And I'm over here like, what is going on with the Judgment Day? Like, it looks like, yeah, it will definitely crumble before Rhea even comes back. And then if she were to come back, how's that storyline gonna go? I don't know. But I'm kind of sad because a lot of people were waiting for that Judgment era, and it's happening, but without Rhea, it's like there's no Judgment Day. It kind of sucks. But anywho, the next match was between Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus the Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Of course, the match was meh. I wasn't paying attention, but I did get to see Bianca get the 3 count, and you can tell she was not happy. But then again, if you think about it, she hasn't had a tag team championship, so it was good for her to have under her resume. But I think we all believe, including herself, that she just wants to stay on top, meaning that she wants an actual championship that she got on her own. I don't know. Either way, congratulations to them both. And then lastly, AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Can we take a minute and appreciate how buffed my boy AJ looked? Like, damn, my boy looked good. And then afterwards, the crowd again did not disappoint. They were singing Cody's theme so loud that after the music goes off, they had to just stand there and listen to the crowd finish the rest of the song because it was that good. I'm like, forget Chris Jericho and Fozzy. Like, it's now all about Cody Rhodes. This match in particular was special for AJ because he talked about how much he respected Dusty. And if you think about it behind the scenes, he's actually doing Dusty a favor by helping his son, you know, Cody, just keep doing what he does best and just showing off that he is a great wrestler and why he's so deserving to have the championship. But to me, it was more awesome just seeing two former members of the Bullet Club go up against each other. Let's not forget about AJ versus Finn Balor, because that was just too sweet. Of course, Cody retained, no surprise there. And then they had a press conference where Cody was talking about how he wants his brother, Dustin Rhodes, also known as Goldust, to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. And probably that's something that I think a lot of us as wrestling fans will love to see that. But again, I don't think it's up to him. It's up to Triple H to do that. But I am hoping that we do get Bray Wyatt inducted this coming year. I know I haven't been talking about Uncle Howdy for so long, but I have been seeing those damn QR codes. And I did that one video and I'm like, I'm not planning to do another one for that. But it is there. I am hoping that Uncle Howdy will make his debut, hopefully in SummerSlam. That's my prediction there. Now, with that being said, that actually wraps up this week's episode. And I got you guys all covered up for the week. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. Also, don't forget, The Thoughts of Lielers is also available on YouTube. I think I have an account there, and It's Lielers, like the other accounts. But again, make sure to follow the link tree that is under the description if you guys want to check it out. If you guys don't have social media, that's my little backup, because you can actually watch both my short videos and then the podcast videos without having to create an account. So there's no excuse. Thank you so much to everybody that has made it to the end of this episode. And as always, I will talk to you guys on the next one.